Hello, YouTuber Woobers. It is Wednesday, 12:30 a.m. and so I've been contemplating my Tuesday chit chat, and a couple of things come to mind. One of them being riding the surfboard, and the other thing is being aware around you. Now, when I walk, I always watch the ground. Now, I do that because sometimes I have a tendency of tripping over things. So if I walk looking down, I can tell if there's something, hopefully an obstacle coming up that I might trip over. Rug, branch, body, you know, rock, step maybe, you know, use your imagination. So, and doing that, it means that I'm more aware of what's going on. Now, if I had my head up and I was looking at birds and trees and flowers and such and people, I may not notice a trip hazard. And you wonder, it's like, so what? Well, you know, life is kind of like riding a surfboard. Now, I've never ridden a surfboard. I've done the paddle boards, and when I was a kid down in Florida, riding the waves. But I've never done the, stand up on 2 feet thing. But I understand the concept that you have to be completely aware of the wave that you're riding in order to stay on the board as far as you possibly can. If you lose sight of what's going on to the left of you and the right of you and behind you and in front of you, you end up falling off the surfboard and into the water. So, and that's kind of where you are with life. Recently, my daughter traveled to Florida. I don't know if I mentioned it or not. And she left Albany Airport, and they treated her like a queen. We were running behind, and they took care of her and got her to the gate and onto the plane. But when she flew home out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, that queen thing wasn't existing. It's as good as being on foreign soil. And so she missed her flight because even though she was trying to be aware, she wasn't completely aware. And she's sitting there waiting for her flight, telling me there's a delay, which there was. It was just the delay was on the wrong plane. So in the end, she had to sit there in the airport for 8 hours, and she had to buy herself another ticket to, fly home. Um, and this is really kind of what it's all about. If you focus on, I saw this Denzel Washington had a little interview, and he said that people who don't read the newspaper are uninformed. He said people that do read the newspaper are misinformed. If you have your heads in the clouds and depend on what's going on around you from one source, thinking that one source is, pardon the expression, word of God, that, you're basically setting yourself up for failure. I mean, nobody knows everything, but everybody knows a lot. So if you listen to one person's opinion and you listen to another person's opinion, and you listen to one newspaper, another newspaper, you listen to mainstream media, you listen to, other medias that aren't necessarily mainstream, that are driven by profit, and you listen around, and you can kind of get a gist of what's going on. But if you depend everything on, listening to a mainstream media, you're going to miss out on some interesting details. And I find it the same thing. I was raised Catholic, and but since then I kind of listen. I listen to what other people say about their religion, and I try to, follow through about life. patience and willing to listen and not react. When you react to something that you hear, it's usually because you're misinformed. When you make a choice from as much information as you can, it's a better way to go. We're very basically here on this planet is to have fun. I mean, that's really what we're here for. We're not here to suffer and be miserable and be in pain all the time. And it's our emotional connection to each other is what really brings us to where we are. And we have purposes, like I have purposes was to learn, experience love, and I've been working on that. And obviously loving myself is a priority, but there's been a lot of times that I've put other people's needs ahead of mine. And, we all have certain goals, but in order to ride that surfboard, through life, you have to kind of listen to what's going on with everything around you. I used to teach a class about awareness, and you sit in a busy mall in the middle of the courtyard with people all around you, and you sit there and you quiet yourself, and you start paying attention to every single person in the mall. See what they're doing. These days, everybody's in their smartphone. They're not paying attention to anybody. People could walk into a wall and not know it because they're all focused on one thing. So, this is certainly a place where people can become aware. There's a lot of uncertainty about 2017. If you listen to mainstream media, they say everything's going to be rosy and cherry. But if you listen to the news, you hear other possibilities. You have to be safe. Provide for yourself and your family. And sometimes a kitty once in a while. Yeah, see, she's there. She's come out. But, you should meet your needs. But, don't live on the edge of buying your groceries day by day or week by week. Have some stuff stored away. Have some flashlights. I talk about this stuff all the time, and I don't know if anyone listens, but But most of all, pay attention to what everyone's opinions are, because within everybody's opinions there are facts. As long as you're listening to people that are diverse. Now, if you're listening to people that are all from the same clan, for example, or belief system, then you're not going to get a really well-balanced information. What do you do when you're looking up something? You look up how to grow potatoes. You're going to Google it, or use your search engine, and it's going to give you a list of things, and you're going to look at all of them, and you're going to come up with what's going to be best for you. And it's the same thing with life. You're going to look at other people. You're going to look up a lot of different opinions. You're going to figure out what's going to work for you. And that's kind of what it's all about. Identifying what your purpose is on Earth in this particular lifetime is always useful too. And, there are a lot of things coming up on the horizon. We're going into another year. And we were fortunate this year not having anything really tragic for Christmas, although it was an earthquake. But, ride the wave. Be aware. And, happy, happy, happy.